Hi everyone, it's me Nina. I am gonna make a meatloaf today, and I haven't made one in a very long time, but me and Mom were both craving meatloaf, and I had been thinking about it the last couple days, and Mom said today, she said, I think I'd like to have a meatloaf, and I said, I've been wanting one too, so let's make one. All right, I don't follow any recipe. I just kind of do what we've always done. Kind of took after what Mom always made. And I've got gloves because I cannot stand the feel of raw meat in my hands. So I know it might seem prissy, but I can't help it. Coming from somebody that I don't really like a lot of meat anyway. But I do like meatloaf once in a while. And I watched someone make one the other day and I thought, that is what I want. Haven't made one. And probably, honestly, it's probably been years since I made one. So let's hope it turns out good. How's everybody's day going today? It's a hot one up here in Ohio, I tell you. Humidity is high, very high. I know the other day the humidity was 90-some%. And if y'all don't live in a state where humidity is high, let me tell you, it's horrible. Can't do hardly anything outside. It just burns you up. Wears you out, makes you tired, makes me grumpy. Yep, it's Saturday, and I don't have my grandsons today. And me and Mom went to the grocery store. Got all that taken care of. It's one of the chores done, at least. And at least the stores are air conditioning. So we went from the air-conditioned car into the air-conditioned store. I'm cutting up some bell peppers. I like just a little bit of it in my, not very much though, but I like a little bit in my meatloaf. So I'm just going to cut those up thin. And honestly, meatloaf it's almost like a no-fail recipe because you can do pretty much anything that you like. I know some people use oatmeal instead of, as a filler, I should say. We like crackers. So there's 100 ways probably of making meatloaf. Just Google it and you'll find there's lots of different ways. This one is just something that our family has always done. And we like it this way, so we just continue on with it. I love this old tin. Mom's got one for these type of crackers and one for like Ritz type of crackers. I think it's adorable. Alrighty, I'm going to put my gloves on. Tear into this meat here. I should have dried my hands. That pepper made them wet. I guess I could have taken my rings off and it wouldn't have been quite as bad. Mom got a bunch of these gloves from, I don't know where she got them at, but they're big, but they're good for food prep. Now this is, they had this on sale today at Meijer's for $1.79 a pound. I thought that was a great deal. And they had just filled it up. They had ran out already this morning. And so we asked if they had any more. I'm going to use half of it for one. And then we like a little bit of any type of sausage you guys have. This one is just, I think this is just regular. Premium cut. Oh no, this is actually maple. I bet Mom didn't notice that. She got maple. Oh well, we'll see how it turns out. I'm only going to use half of it, so it shouldn't make very much of a flavor of maple in it. I love maple sausage, but I just don't know how it would turn out. So I'm going to squeeze out about half of that package. Alrighty. And then put the peppers in. I might need some more pepper. I'll see after I get done here. And then I am going to open up some crackers, and then we use tomato juice. And then on top, I like to put ketchup on mine. I don't know how Mom, if she does or not. I know growing up she did because the kids, all of us kids liked it, but whoops, y'all see that? Those crackers went jumping. Probably a whole pack, I would say. And honestly, I just kind of cook by how it looks and how it feels. And I already opened up the tomato juice. Put a little bit in there, and then I can always adjust it. And show you a little bit there. That's how it looks. And I'll put some spices and stuff in it after I get this all mixed together. Now, Mom does all this just with her hands, and I know a lot of people do, but I don't know. It kind of just grosses me out. Kind of like kneading bread, I guess. Anyway, I was saying about the weather. I'm so glad that we got the yard work done yesterday after the boys went home. It was, humidity was 90-some%. And, you know, that bothers people more than, actually, oh, I don't want to touch those. I'll have to try to take these off. This might be more of a pain than, oh well. I'm going to have to mix it with my hands, as bad as I hate to. I'm going to have another pack of crackers too. Not enough to hold that together. I might as well go ahead and do the seasonings. Now, I've not tried this on meatloaf, but it is delicious on other meat. It is the, I actually got that in the, I don't know if it was, if certain aisle of grocery stores has different types of like Chinese stuff and Mexican stuff, and this came out of the Mexican section, and I had bought it to make, it's got salt and stuff in it, but I had bought it when I made beans and rice, black beans and rice. Oh, it smells really, really good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some of the minced onion. I'm going to take the lid off because I'm going to put quite a bit. And then I thought about maybe, I'm not going to put that in. All right. Still going to have to mix some more. Got the oven preheating. Got it on 350. Take my rings off while I'm thinking about it. Put some more tomato juice. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember when I did the tour of the yard, that bush that was sitting in the middle of the backyard, that we don't know what it's called, and I still can't find out what it's called. But it is, it had grown, well, matter of fact, we let it grow out of just without trimming it any last year because we were wanting it to bloom, to have blossoms. And it's the one that I see them all the time out in the country, out on like fence lines, like they grow along fence, you know, line post. And my dad planted that years ago and it never did bloom. So like I said, we kind of let it just do its thing. And this year, and it was crazy looking. You might be able to go back in that video and look at it. It was really crazy looking, and I gave it a good haircut yesterday. Took a whole bunch off of it. So it looks a lot better, and it's not going to bloom anyway. It should have already been, oops, should have already bloomed for this year. And it didn't. So I guess we're going to have to probably end up cutting it down next year. Alrighty. See what I can get out of here. This is how it turned out. You see crackers and a little bit of the peppers. I think that's all I'm going to end up putting. Because, and the oven's done. Perfect timing. Now, I don't have one of the meatloaf pans that will actually drain the oil away from the meatloaf. So I'm not going to fill these up as high as you probably would a regular meatloaf pan. This one's not as, I'll go ahead and leave this one not as high in the pan because I know Mom likes hers more crispy. This one's a lot higher. Let me wash my hands real quick here. So tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Monday is my mom's birthday. And she will be 77. And she's in, you know, you guys have seen her. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's in really good health, thank the Lord. And let me get the ketchup real quick. So what we're going to do is, me and my youngest sister, the one that moved here from Michigan, we are going to take her out to a, I think we're going to go to Clear Fork. Anyways, a lake around here. We're not really sure, so I probably shouldn't even say that. We're going to take her somewhere. And we're going to have a picnic lunch. And I like a bunch, so I'm going to put this on thick in this one because the ketchup gets really, really caramelized when it bakes. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to do Monday. Oh, I forgot to take the pans out of the oven. I have not ever done that. We keep the iron skillets and stuff in there, and then the one that my husband uses for his eggs. I'm going to put a little bit of ketchup on here. Mom doesn't like it very much, but I think a little bit will just add something to it. And it's not as good as if you add it after, to me anyway. I ended up that zucchini bread that I made. I ended up making, I gave one of them to my son, his family. Then we ended up eating the one. And then when Mom got back from her trip with her brother, she ended up, said she wanted one. So I went ahead and made 2 more. And we've been eating on one of them. And then on the other one, I went ahead and cut it in half and froze it. So that way we can have it later. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning, put all this stuff back up in the cabinets, and I'm thinking about having some type of vegetable and probably like mashed potatoes. I like that with my meatloaf. So I hope it turns out. Like I said, I'm going to cross my fingers. I don't know. We'll see. All right, be back in just a little bit. Okay, while I'm waiting for that meatloaf to bake, I thought I would just talk a little bit. And wanted to let you know probably the most satisfying job that I ever had. Just to find out a little bit more about me. I took care of special needs children on a bus. We lived out in the country, and the bus from the school needed an aide to help get the children into the bus, on the lift, and to strap the wheelchairs down and, take care of the children until they were dropped off at their schools. The school that I worked for, they had classes for some special needs, but they didn't have any. These are really glaring, aren't they? They didn't have any classes for the severe children. So we would pick those children up on the bus and at their homes, and then we would deliver them to different schools in town that were better qualified to taking care of those kids. Well, I did that job for 3 years, and I really loved it. The children, you just get so attached to them, and they're so precious. And we had a little, well, I called her just a little girl, but really she wasn't that young, because those children can go to school until they're 21. So I'm not exactly sure how old she was at the time when I worked there, but there was a girl called, her name was LaKoya, and she's no longer with us. She passed away a couple years ago, and she was precious. She could not eat by mouth. She couldn't, of course, she couldn't talk. She was nonverbal. She couldn't walk or anything, and she had a lot of health problems. She was born with a lot of health problems, and her parents didn't feel they could take care of her, and they gave her up for adoption, and a couple that lived out in our area adopted her and from birth, and they had her all those years. And I think she was, I'm not sure, I know she was around, seemed like in her late 20s when she passed away. I can't remember, but anyway, I wanted to say, when she passed away, her parents wanted to get a hold of me, and they didn't know how to get a hold of me. So their son was on social media, and he contacted my son and let us know that they wanted us at the calling hours or funeral. They hadn't seen me for a long time. So I get there, and the paper that had the obituary and everything in it, they listed me as one of her favorite aides. Now, she had many aides over the years, because like I said, they can go to school till they're 21, and she did. She continued. She just went on through school. And yeah, a lot of people say, well, why send them to school? She was unable to learn and all this and that. Well, she might not have been like you or me or any of our children or grandchildren, but she knew what she liked, and she let you know when she liked it, and she was happy, and the joy that she spread in her little lifetime was precious. So what happened, she had put down, well, her parents had put down that two people, the bus driver that was the one that drove her all those years, and then me as an aide. And it thrilled my heart. I just couldn't hardly believe it, that they thought that much of me after all the people that she had take care of her. That was precious. When something really warms your heart, it sure did warm my heart. But when we went there, I just wanted to say her parents were white, and LaKoya was black, and she loved red fingernail polish, and she loved bracelets. The ones that made the most noise, she loved them better. And she would sling her little arms. She was so skinny and so little, and she would sling her arms around, and they would make her racket, and that would make her even more excited. And she'd kick her feet up, and I took my son with me a couple times on the bus, and oh yeah, anybody that met her fell in love with her. She would just look and smile, and that smile would make your day. But she loved, like I said, shiny, beautiful things. And her parents would get her hair done in those I think it's a weave or something, where they made it really long. And the more pretty things in it, the better it was for her, the happier she was. So they kept it like that, and she loved it. And she would play with those beads and stuff in her hair, and she was just a precious girl. And I'm telling you, that was the most rewarding job that I've ever had. It never paid much at all. And I've always been the type of person that always, you know, if you like the job, it's not all about the money. You got to pay your bills, of course. But as far as fulfilling, that was it. That was the job. And I only did it for 3 years, but it's always held a special place in my heart for me. And I just wanted to share that a little bit. So I'll be back whenever the meatloaf is done and I get everything else ready, and I'll just show you the plate so you can see how it turns out. All right, thanks. All right, dinner is done. See if you can see this. Made some brown gravy, mashed potatoes, green beans, and the meatloaf. Have a good day, everybody.